Going on, everyone? Hope you're all right. Cold there. Back again after 4.5 months. Um, yeah, I've been locked up in Forest Bank, Catby Prison, here in Salford, which is run by Sodexo. Um, it's a private jail and all that, Mivo. First of all, before I get into anything, deep and all that, there's a guy on G1. I was a cleaner on H1. H1's the induction wing. There's a guy called Darren Rawlinson on G1 who sadly passed away. He died of a drug overdose on a drug-free wing, which just shows you the state of the prison system. That someone that was like it's a recovery unit, and sadly at age 37, he passed away of a drug overdose about a week and a half ago. So my thoughts and condolences are with his friends and his family. Um, sad state of affairs, it really is. To the credit of the Screws, they actually give mouth to mouth. They did everything they could to try and resuscitate him, but he was pronounced dead at about 10 to 9 in the morning. Anyway, Forest Bank, man, fucking hell. It was my round two of my time in there. I've been in there twice now. I've been in a ways, strange ways as it's known. This is my second time that I was in Forest Bank. ID card and all that, my ugly mug. So I landed in Forest Bank about I think it was the 14th of October. Fucking back on induction wing. Everyone that comes into the jail, bar like paedophiles and nonces and bacons and rapists, will go through induction. It's just everyone gets introduced to the jail. I was there about 2 days or something like that. I was on the phone, and one of the red badges, called Jacko, tapped me on the back and goes, "You got a job?" I goes, "A job doing what?" And he goes, "Just as a cleaner on a wing and that." So I said, "Yeah." So I jumped on it. And you know what? Yeah, straight up, right? Like when you're behind your door and you're locked up, yeah, like most of the day and that, don't see nothing what goes on, right? When you're a cleaner, you see everything. You see people kicking off, shitting up. Like shitting up, for those that don't know, is when people shit into the hand and cover themselves in shit, or they wipe shit all over the cell wall. And you know what? Yeah, honest to God, I've got to be honest. Yeah, I absolutely love my time back in Forest Bank. Great set of lads on the cleaners. I got off the wing at just the right time. There was a grass or two grasses coming onto the cleaners, which is never a good vibe. You should not be grassing. Things that the thing is as well with a jail, yeah. The screws, yeah. Bar one guy, yeah, who was a proper job's worth. All the screws, I've got to be honest, were absolutely spot on. Great personalities, great laughs, great characters. Won't mention any names, but some top officers in there. Now, like I said, I let the officers know, yeah, that obviously I do the interviews with the media on the prison system and stuff. I am critical of the prisons. Just because I got on with the Screws and that I was working alongside them with and everything. um, still on the side of the prisoners and that. I mean, back in the day, I used to think it was an us versus them attitude, yeah, as in cons versus Screws. Now, I can see why people think that, but honestly, like it's not that way at the bank. You know, like it was easy, proper. Like Screws were safe. We don't want, like, as clean as you get away with murder. You get the best choice on when you're a cleaner, yeah. Like, so how it starts, yeah, you start at the bottom of the chain. You start on the ones as a cleaner on the ones. The ones is like a big shift, yeah. You got to graft your bollocks off, sweeping, mopping, wipe downs. Then the bedding packs and that will come over. You got to get rid of them. Get rid of all the rubbish, wipe down, spray, clean, polish, buffer. We work 7 days a week, right? For £10.25. Now, if that's not slave labour, I don't know what fucking is, yeah, man. Like I say, I do the interviews, yeah, with the media with the intention of getting better, like speaking out for prisoners, right? And also, um, because I'm critical of the justice system because it's a joke, yeah. Now, The screws are very laid back, yeah. Which and I've got to be critical of the screws in this part. The jail is rife with drugs, right? The fact that a fucking Darren Rawlinson, God bless him, may rest in peace, yeah, a prisoner can die 2 weeks before his release date, right, when he's 37, an overdose, right, in his cell. He was found semi-conscious, with well, he was no, he was found unconscious with a very faint like what's it called, like pulse. Um, and yeah, he had apparently, allegedly, he had drugs up, like plugged up his ass. Plus, he was taking drugs, and on top of that, he was on methadone as well. So I'm led to believe. I'm not, like I say, that's just from what the screws have told me, and from what people on the wing that were his friends told me. Apparently, he was a chef. He worked in the kitchens and stuff. Again, my thoughts and my prayers are with him and his family. It's a sad state of affairs to die in prison, especially at 37. Um, Really, really, it hit me hard. Even though I didn't know the kid, it's still like to think that like somebody died in a jail. You know what I mean? It's rough, man. Um, like I say, there's a lot in jail. Like back in ways, it's the same old script, yeah. Full of drugs, full of mobile phones, SIM cards, the legalized, the spice, all the usual stuff, yeah. The thing is as well, like you get pure association in there as well. Like, to be honest, in my honest opinion, right, as mad as this might sound, yeah, like I say, sticking up for cons and that, there's too much association, especially on a weekend. On a weekend, yeah, the lads are out for like 6 hours, yeah. It's too much, man. And then you get people get bored, and people kicking off over tellies. Right, for some reason, yeah, if someone's like thing, yeah, like one of the lads will be behind a door, they end up smashing the TV or cutting a wire or ripping the wires out of the back. But the thing is, yeah, they fuck it up for the next lads that go in there that want a TV, and they're like, nah, there's not enough TVs for all the lads, yeah. So the lads are refusing to bang up behind the doors, they're jumping on the bars, threatening to slash up. There was an incident recently where a kid threatened to slash up, and I won't mention any names, but an officer give the kid a TV, which pissed the other officers off because it was seen to be rewarding bad behaviour. Now, on H1, which was the wing I was on, it's a former detox wing, yeah. So check this, yeah. The flaps, yeah, they actually open. The inmates can slide the things open, and he can stick their head out the thing, so they know what's going on. They see what's going on, yeah, man. So when like the Mufti squad's going in, twisting people up, and the Mufti squad is just like a gang of big screws that go in and like with shields and that, and like twist people up and drag them out and everything else. But everyone's behind the doors when this goes down. It's just mad. The jail's crazy. Like the screws are safe as fuck, right? But they know, the screws know, yeah, what's going on in the jail. They know about people smoking weed openly. You can smell it on the landing. I'll be walking with a screw, yeah. They smell the weed, yeah. They just carry on walking, like, wow, that's strong. So they're very tolerant of the drugs. They know what goes on. It's probably not worth the paycheck to go and strip search people and try and investigate and stuff. There is a screw that works on the wing. He's a senior and he's proactive in the drugs. He's anti-drugs. He's, do you know what? He's a top guy. He's anti-drugs, and he's twisted, like he's like searching lad cells and strip searching them and everything else in between. So he's proactive. You got to give him credit for doing his job. I respect him doing his job. But at the end of the day, it's all game of cat and mouse between cons and screws, yeah, man. I love my job. It was hard graft and stuff. I worked like down the main part of the jail, yeah, like in the top jail, right? So H2 is nonces, rapists, yeah. If that wing's full, right, then the nonces will be behind the door on they're on C2. I think C2, some are on C1, and then they're behind their doors, yeah. And then obviously they was on induction as well, but they're behind the doors. They're not allowed to associate with the other lads because if people find out what they're in for, they get tight and that, yeah, man. Yeah, H1's induction wing, which is what I was on. When I first went into the jail in October last year, G2 was the induction wing. G2 is now detox wing, and then from detox wing, which is G2, they get ciphered into G1 or down the main. Like I said, G1 is a drug-free wing. It's a recovery wing for recovering alcoholics and drug addicts. That's sadly where Darren Rawlinson, God bless him, may he rest in peace, died of a drug overdose on a drug-free wing. That just tells you everything you need to know about the state of the prisons in the UK. just from my prison t-shirt, as you can tell, Forest Bank all the way. But yeah, do you know what? Yeah, like I've got to be honest, like it's sort of working with the screws. You understand like what they go through doing their job. You see the stress that they're under, the duress, the kickoffs that happen suddenly. They're understaffed, they're overworked, they're underpaid in their eyes. They've got low morale, the stress at each other. Like on the wing that I was on, I won't mention any names, but there's one officer that's been there for about 15, 16 years. He's just a blue badge. A blue badge is like a normal officer. Then you've got your red badge, who's your senior officer. Well, the blue badge and the red badge were having a power struggle between themselves. The blue badge went over the red badge's head to the unit manager and stuff, and then the red badge is actually the one with the authority. So that was funny to watch, like the infighting between the screws. They can't work together and stuff, and stressing each other out and contradicting each other and sniping and going above each other's heads and stuff. It's a bit crazy. But again, I can't fault the screws. I've got to be absolutely honest. Like, obviously, there's lads that were in there that be getting twisted up and stitched up and kick fuck out of and all that, but they're doing something to get twisted up over. Obviously, it's not fair when there's about 10, 15 screws going in, twisting somebody up. I don't agree with that. But the screws sometimes are alright, and then the lads just kick off with the screws for no reason. Now, like I say, I ain't no screw boy, yeah, mate. I'm one of the boys. But the simple fact is, it goes on there. While I was in there was like, you get kids coming in for the death by dangerous drivers, the Hungarian kid that ran over the two girls in Ashton near Parkcakes and that, ran them over, killed them, God bless them, may they both rest in peace. He was in there. We had a kid from Burnley who, there was two of them in for death by dangerous driving. They was racing each other. A car pulled out from a side street. One of them swerved and it hit a young girl, 9-year-old, killed her. Now, he was getting grief from me and the lads, yeah. And then he took me to one side and he said, you know what makes it worse about the girl? He said it was my niece. So actually, just by pure chance, he was racing with his mate like a dick, mounted a curb like to swerve away from a car that was coming out of a side street and killed his 9-year-old niece. His family disowned him, like proper fucked the kid's head up, you know. And the kid sat there in jail, remorseful. Like, some kids don't give a fuck. It was an educated kid. He felt sorry for what he'd done. He'd lost everything. The sick thing about the whole thing is he only got sentenced to 4 years in prison. 4 years, man. 4 fucking years, and you've got nonces and rapists getting fucking 12-month sentences and all that, and fucking 2-year sentences for fucking raping and noncing people off, mate. It's fucking wrong. And I was there was kids. There was a friend of mine that was in there for tax evasion to the tune of £4 million. Top guy. Utmost respect for him. In prison, it's like a powder keg all the time. Like, the lads are stressed out. They're behind the doors, yeah, for quite long periods of time and stuff. They're angry, they're pissed off, they've got no telly, they're on basic, they're on drugs, they're fucking wired, their head's falling off, we're all pumped full of testosterone, yeah, we're all getting about little things in prison, yeah, that become big things, right? People be losing their shit, yeah, and kicking off over food, portions of food, size of the portions of food. That's amongst cleaners and amongst inmates that are being served. In their eyes, they're being stitched up on the food. Yeah, there's a lot to be said. Like, TVs cause problems. Burn, fucking hell, sick of this. Burn is, to those that don't know, is like tobacco, yeah, like rolling tobacco for cigarettes and shit, yeah. It's actually been out. It's going to be banned from prison. I think at the end of this year, I think it's August or September this year. Tobacco is going to be wiped. So there's going to be no, you're not going to be able to buy it on canteen. People lending burn from each other, getting fucking subbies from each other, gabbies from each other. Gabbies is a painkilling drug that people break up and sniff. Subutex, for those that don't know, it's there to actually block out. If people use heroin, it's actually there to block out what they use. So they break it down, they sniff it, and it gives them a high. And then you've got fucking hooch, which is prison alcohol now. I have to admit myself, I had some just last Monday. Oh my god, first time I'd ever had fucking hooch, man. So those that don't know, hooch is prison alcohol. It's like yeast, sugar, bit of orange juice, fucking tomatoes. Oh mate, fuck it, ferments. Yeah, you get it on the heat, ferments. The sugar attacks the yeast and everything, and you get a lethal concoction. It smells like cider and vodka mixed together. It's quite bitter to taste, but it gets you off your fucking, absolutely gets you smashed. Very good stuff. Gets you away from where you are. It was my leaving drink with the boys and stuff. I really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, like I say, the prison, obviously, all the usual stuff. Having been back in there, still assaults happening. Um, Lads fighting with fucking lads, going behind the door, filling them in, ended up under investigation, locked behind the doors for long periods, getting sacked from the cleaners, um, fucking people owing for drugs and stuff. There was a kid that was on the cleaners, I'll mention no names, who actually really liked the kid a lot, yeah, and to the point where he became addicted to spice and started stealing from other lads on the cleaners. I don't agree with that in any way, shape or form. You don't steal from your own, do you know what I mean? I got drug tested for the first time while I was in there. What it's called MDT, mandatory drug testing. It was actually trialled the first time in 1998. 8 jails trialled it, and then I think 2 years later, I think it got outspread to other prisons. It's a very, very thorough test. It's just a piss test. They split between two containers. It tested for every drug, spice included. Yeah, like the chemical makeup of spice, the cannabinoids and everything. Um, Out of there was about 4 cleaners that didn't get tested because they was on a street soccer thing, and then I was on the wing. Everyone else got tested. Yeah, me, the number one. The number one's in charge of the cleaners. Yeah, top lad. Utmost respect for him. Yeah, and out of the piss tests, there was a guy that one of the wing painters. He got pissed. He tested positive. He actually appealed it. Um, I came back clear. The lad that was addicted to spice, who was stealing from cleaners and stuff, he was sacked. The drug test is very, very thorough, and the reason we got drug tested is you can get tested because you're under reasonable suspicion that you're taking something. You're on voluntary drug testing, which some people put forward for, which helps them get tag and license, released on temporary license, get them for the Cat B, the Cat C, the Cat D moves and stuff. So, or you risk assessment because you've been, in my case, the reason I was tested was because I was trusted to do a job. It was the red badge that's anti-drugs that actually pushed us through to be piss tested. I had no, he made a comment to me and I said, you don't have to worry about me. I said, clear conscience, clear piss, simple as that. I don't touch drugs in any way, shape or form. Yeah, like I say, do you know what? I've got to be honest, I really, really enjoyed my time in there. I mean, prison's not a deterrent, in my honest opinion. If you've got something to come out to, like you've got your, like I had my own like gaff to go out to, you've got family and stuff that you're close to, right? That's something to hold on for and to look like a missus and all that stuff. Kids, you've got things to look forward to. If you're in jail and you've lost your flat because you're on a short license or a short sentence, or like you've lost your flat through rent arrears and stuff, your family have disowned you because of your crimes or whatever, or like a family breakdown or something, when you get out, you're gonna have nothing, right? These are the lads that keep coming back to prison. It's not a deterrent, right? I'd rather be, if I was homeless, yeah, again, I've been homeless before. If I was homeless again, I'd want to be back in prison. And that's a strange thing to say. People think, why would you want to be back in prison? The reason you'd want to be back in prison if you was homeless, you had nowhere to go. You've got a roof over your head in prison, 3 hot meals a day, TV in your cell. You can get drugs, mobile phones legalized, everything else there, right? So it would make sense, wouldn't it? Like, you'd rather have something in prison than fuck all. And that so many people are re-offending just to get back inside. Some of them don't want to go back inside. There's lads that get recalled, they get stick in these bail hostels, they get breathalyzed every night, or they get drug tested or piss tested, they get drug tested, or they get breathalyzed and stuff. They've got alcohol in the system, they get breached, they get recalled straight back to jail. Prison is just a revolving door. It's not a deterrent to anyone. I've got to be honest, I absolutely love my time. I mean, obviously, you're glad when you get out, but overall, like, you proper, like, the friends that, like, I'm made of stormy year, man, but on Friday, yeah, when I gets out, yeah, I had tears in my eyes. and people find that strange. I'm made of stone, man, but the lads that I'd worked with, showered with, ate with, socialised with, you know what I mean, nearly fucking fought with, right? They was family, man. And I won't sit here and say a bad word about any of them. I absolutely loved all of them. I wish they all get back to the family safe and sound. I hope they get out soon. There's a couple. I think there's about 3 lads that are getting out in the next week or two. I wish them all well, man, and I hope to meet up with them on the outside. The intention is not to go back to prison, but obviously, you can never say never. The police are corrupt and stuff, and they'll stitch you up any way they can to get you back in there. But the prison system's fucked. It's worse. It's getting worse, man. The screws are just like the way past. The thing with the drugs and the legalised and everything is they're so far past caring that it just people are smoking it blatantly on the landings and stuff. Like I say, that's not to put the screws down. The screws do a good job, man. They've got the amount of shit the screws have to put up with and stuff is unreal. Again, like I say, I'm not a screw boy, but you have to appreciate when you work alongside them and you see the shit that they go through on a daily basis, and the overworked and stuff and long hours, and they weren't even getting a break until the new regime came in. They weren't even getting dinner breaks, man. Serious, right? So like now at 25 past 12, yeah, you get locked up for a roll count, yeah. And while after that roll count's done, yeah, the staff go and get them. Like one stays on the wing, then the other two go and get some scran, then they come back, then the other one goes, man. You know what I mean? The screws deserve a break. It's as simple as that. Like I say, I've learned. I work parallel with them, and I can't slag the screws off. There was one Jobsworth, a fucking cunt, who spoke to the lads like shit, and one of the lads that was sacked as a cleaner on the wing I was on, he was left up on G2 after he stabbed one of the lads in the face with a fork. Sorry, he got sacked, and then this Jobsworth screw was up there on G2, and he must have said something wrong to the lad in question, and the lad in question swilled him. I don't know if it was hot water or piss, but he swilled him good and proper. Yeah. It's crazy, you know. Like but the thing is with a prison as well. Like rehabilitation can be done there. It's badly run from the top as well. Like I've got to say that the people that make decisions in the jail don't work on the wings because they're out of shape with what's actually happening on the wings and stuff. They live in bubbles. When they start banging the suits on at the top end at the jail and at the governors and that, they don't know what's going on, man. They might read statistics that run across the desk and stuff, but they don't get about on the wing. They don't see what goes on. They're not there for incidents and stuff. Another initiative that's been rolled out within the prison is they're now wearing body cameras. Now the screws that are bullies within the jail, there are a couple that like to go hands on, should we say. These cameras could end up getting them all sacked because I'm speaking as a former doorman. CCTV is either your best friend or your worst enemy, depending on what your intentions are. Now these are not on live record all the time. You have to press a button, but you're not gonna. If you press that button and it kicks off and you forget about that it's on, what you say is then relayed to the security, the control room and stuff. And people can end up in all sorts of shit because of that. So screws that are bullies, hopefully it'll weed them out and they can get fired. And yeah, it's an interesting development, that. Another thing as well which has been rolled out, not many people know this, but from speaking to the screws, you find stuff out, you take information away and you tell the other lads and stuff. There's actually a body scanner, an airport style body scanner that will be like checking people's insides. Like when they x-ray you on this machine, it will actually be x-raying your insides. Now that's bad news for anyone that's planning, if you know you go into jail, yeah, then obviously what a lot of people do to make some money, they plug a load of drugs, spice, subbies, heroin, crack, fucking coke, diazepam, whatever you want, you plug it up your ass, you get into jail, you shit it out, and then you sell it for a premium, don't you, because it's supply and demand. But these new body scanners that are in the prison, they're not up and running yet. I had a look when I was being released. They're building it though, and apparently it can only be scanned twice a year because of the radiation that comes off it. But if you come into Forest Bank, in the next, I'd say, 6 to 12 months when this machine's up and running, and you've got anything inside you. If you're on a short sentence, right, your short sentence can get fucked off. You can get, I think it's 2 years for I think it's 7 years if you're bringing in, it's called MPS, new psychoactive substances. I think it's 7 years for that, for intent to supply. Plus, if you bring in like mobile phones, SIM cards, all the usual shit, that's supplying HMP. And I think that's 2 years or something, up to 2 years you can get added to your sentence. So straight away, it could lead to a lot of lads getting into a lot of shit. But obviously, cons were not stupid. It's still a game of cat and mouse. And just as the prison are developing a new strategy to stop drugs and mobile phones getting into the jail and legalise and all the other stuff, the cons will then move again, and they will find another way to get drugs through. That's just a simple fact. They'll never stop it. They can put things in place to try and stop it, but it's never going to stop it. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm waffling on. I'm real shattered right now. I'm going to do more videos on the issues that I've raised: mandatory drug testing, the death in custody, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, listen, guys. My Twitter handle's down the bottom. Feel free to add me on there, follow me, and I'll speak to you all soon. All right, guys. Bye.